This episode of Small Town Western New York was made possible by the following supporters. Hi, on this episode of Small Town Western New York, I'm taking a day trip down to the town of Springville. You know, we're really blessed in Western New York with this rolling hill Vermont-like geography once you get south of the city. It starts to unveil all these charming, small, tucked-in towns all through the region. And I heard Springville was going through a bit of a mini renaissance, and I wanted to come down and check it out for myself. As you just saw on the intro there, on my way into town I passed a really well taken care of park with a perfect gazebo and a really imposing monument. And you know I'm a sucker for a park or a town square with a gazebo, so I had to get out and explore a little before I officially started my day in town. I soon learned the park was named Fiddler's Green Park, but I had to get moving as I had a meeting at the Lucy Bensely Center, which is just steps away from the park, to meet Jolene Hawkins, one of the curators there, who was going to show me around this amazing repository of history for the town and village. It's really just one piece of the Concord Historical Society campus, which offers visitors 5 very special venues, but I'll have to come back and explore those on another episode. For this episode, though, I just wanted to learn more about the center.
This is a Universalist church. It was built in 1892. It was then, after the church dissolved or moved, it became the library, the public library for the school. Miss Lucy Bensely ran the library for 50 to 60 years. She was the original historian of types. It was the library probably for a good 40 years or more. After that, it closed again. It was also a substation for one of the sheriffs for a while, a BOCES classroom, and it then became the Chamber and Lucy Bensely Center for research of not only your family history, but of towns, of businesses in the town, as well as Civil War ancestries.
While Jolene was giving me a tour of the Lucy Bensely Center, she tipped me off to go see a hidden in plain sight gem that, of all places, was at the post office. Incorporated in 1834, the village of Springville is located in the southeastern area in the town of Concord. Behind me in the post office is a really great federally commissioned mural painted by Victoria Hudson Huntley in 1939 called the Fiddler's Green. The name of the painting was actually an ode to the village's original name of Fiddler's Green, and part of me can't help but wish the town didn't retain such a uniquely charming name. After the post office, I wanted to dig a little deeper and explore the history of the buildings, so I started with what is probably its most popular and still in use building. The village is home to the very first high school in Erie County. Opened in 1830, it exists today as the Springville Griffith Institute, but only after a name change in 1867 by what I could imagine would have been a very large donation by a local man named Archibald Griffith. The village is also home to 5 National Register of Historic Places buildings: the Citizens National Bank Buffalo Building, the Rochester and Pittsburgh Railroad Station, the Baptist Church of Springville, the Post Office, and the Scobie Power Plant and Dam. And if that wasn't enough, the town can boast 2 National Register of Historic Places listed districts, one being the East Main Mechanic Streets Historic District, and the other being the East Hill Historic District. Although there's certainly a lot of history to be found here, Springville isn't reveling in its past. There's a lot of redevelopment and reinvestment going on everywhere you look. And that reinvestment in their own communities really turned Springville into something special and made it one of the best kept secrets in the South towns. And speaking of reinvestment and redevelopment, nothing says you've arrived like a great shopping district. And the Main Street, well actually West Main, is filled with great new shops as well as ones that have been towing the line here for a long time and are Springville staples. One of the other notable features I saw when I was driving into the village for the first time was the Springville Community Trout Pond Renovation project right off Buffalo Road. I had never heard of it before, but it's a really unique feature of the community, and it's been here since 1937. In 1998, the pond suffered a 100-year catastrophic flood event that left the fish habitat destroyed and the hatchery in pretty rough shape too. But through the efforts of a group of local volunteers working hard, they have the pond back, the hatchery is being restored, and they're working on plans for a classroom facility that'll feature the promotion of aquaculture, fish brooding, and conservation. Although I spent an entire day there, I barely scratched the surface of everything there was to experience, especially the Concord Historical Campus. It's funny because some places unveil themselves to you slowly and in their own way, and Springville is certainly one of those places that can easily get under your skin and into your heart and really makes you feel like this is a place you want to spend more time in. It's an agricultural village, steeped in history, that in spite of it all, is moving into its future in the best way possible, by being true to itself and its people and not forgetting what it is. It's an authentic place in a world that has quickly become pretty inauthentic. It's a place that you really need to experience for yourself, and I will definitely be back often. This episode of Small Town Western New York was made possible by the following supporters.